Hi, and welcome to week 1 of the Heal and Strengthen Your Core program. As I mentioned in my introduction video, we're going to start real basic just to find that mind to muscle connection between ourselves and our innermost core that might have been a bit lost. So whenever you're ready, remember to do your pelvic floor warm-up exercises first, so that when you get to this, your muscles are already engaged and we can work a little bit harder. So when you've done that, come to lay on your back. Bring the feet in close to the hips here so that you can find your hip flexors relaxing. Maybe put your thumbs in there and then just make sure that the hip flexors are not firing up. We're going to keep a neutral spine here, which means there's a slight arch of the lower or mid back off the floor. That is the position we're going to strengthen our core in. So just make sure you're not overextending here, poking your ribs out. We want to hug the ribs in. Draw the belly button up and in, the pelvic floor up and in, so that the front body is settled down. Okay, so whenever we start working the abs, that they're not poking up this way, we want to bring them in and close to the spine. So from here we do pelvic tilts, which means the hip bone and the lowest rib wants to touch each other at the front, and we want to push the lower back, which is now slightly arched off the floor, into the floor, because that's all we're going to do. And you should feel the lower abdominals and the pelvic floor working here. So maybe bring your index finger to your hip bone and your thumb to your lowest rib. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, lift the pelvic floor, hugging the belly button, and see if you can tilt the pelvis. So you'll slightly lift off the tailbone, push the lower back into the floor as you bring the hip bones and the lower ribs close together, and then release into a neutral spine. Let's do that 9 more times. Breathe in and out. Draw the belly button in towards the spine and then release. And contract. Tilting the tailbone up gently off the floor. And this is 4. And release. And 5. We're going for 10, by the way. Release. And 6. Release. No effort in hip flexors here. And 7. They stay disconnected. 2 more. 3 more. 8. Release. And 9. Release. Really pushing the lower back into the floor. Last one. And 10. And release. Shake it off. Maybe let your knees fall a little bit from side to side. We're going to stay on our backs for the next one. For this one, the lower back stays in a neutral position, so we're not going to push the back into the floor behind us. We're going to keep the belly button lifted, the pelvic floor lifted. And all you got to do is slide 1 foot at a time out, sliding the heel out, and then using the core to bring it back in. So we are trying to engage the hip flexors as little as possible here. Let's do the other one. Flex the foot, slide your heel away from you, and then draw it in using your core. So you might feel it across on the diagonal here. Flex and lengthen, and draw it in slowly. Other side, flex and lengthen. And draw it in. And this is 3. We're going to do 5 on each side. Make sure there's no tilting in the pelvis here, so the pelvis stays exactly in the same position. and draw it in. Feel the cross abdominals here working. Lengthen and in and lengthen and in. Last one. Lengthen and in and lengthen and in. Okay, so an important thing with that one is that the core is doing the work. I can easily do this just using my hip flexor and having my core completely relaxed. So this is where the mind to muscle connection comes in, okay? We have to really focus that the core is doing the work instead of the hip flexors, as they are very dominant normally. From here, roll over to one side, come up onto hands and knees. We're going to work a little bit into the obliques. Coming into a modified side plank, reaching your right arm up to the sky. And maybe give yourself a little side body stretch here. And from here, the right arm is going to go up to the ceiling and really gently lift your left fingertips off the floor, using the side body here to contract and bring the left fingertips up and over for a gate pose. And then we go really slowly back down with control, gently touching the fingertips to the floor. Reach the right arm over. Maybe take a breath in here. And exhale. Smooth transition here. Try not to yank yourself up. And lift. And slowly lower down. Breath in, right arm over. And slowly up. Just a lot of work required to make that transition smooth, especially on the way up from the floor. 2 more times. Gently touching down. Inhale. Exhale, coming up. Inhale, left arm over. Exhale, down. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, up. Breath in. And this time, slowly left hand down. The right arm follows both knees and hands to the floor. We're going to change sides. Stretching the left leg back, coming into your modified side plank. Giving yourself a nice side stretch first. Okay, take a deep breath in. And then let the left arm reach the sky and slowly coming up. This side might be easier, it might be harder. Take an inhale as the right arm comes up and over. And then gently, with patience, we bring the fingertips down, left arm over. And coming up. Inhale. And down. Breath in. Focusing on the transition here being really smooth. Contract into the side body as you come up and down to these 2 positions. And up. And down. Reach the arm. Last one here. Up and over. And this time, both hands, both knees to the floor. Come down onto your belly. We're going to strengthen our backs a little bit here. The back is also a part of the core. Okay, so all a part of that torso stability that has been weakened. And also through pregnancy and postpartum, we get very forward hunched. So it's nice to strengthen and open up. Strengthen the back and open up the front body. Anyway, we're going to do cobra push-ups. So bring your hands by your ribs, hug the elbows in, and then roll the shoulders back. So the back of the neck is really long here. Okay, so you're not breaking the neck back and letting the shoulders fall forward. Long back of the neck, shoulders back and down, elbows in. And then we lock in this position, forehead to the floor. And we're gonna push off, lift the chest, and peel the torso off. Little push into the hands, but mostly it's our back working. Squeeze your glutes as well, and then come down. And then coming up, using your back, using your glutes. And down. And up. And down. Now you can come as high or low as you want. The height doesn't matter. We all have different flexibility in our spine. What I want you to do most though is to use the strength of your back, not so much to push of the hands. And down. And up. And down. Hug the shoulder blades together. Open up the front of the chest. We have 3 more. Rolling up. And down. 2 more. 1. And 2. And now we stay on the floor. Stretch your arms forward. Gonna move on the diagonal here, again strengthening the back body. Palms facing each other as if you hold the box in between your hands here. Stretch the legs so that the knees are off the floor. And there's also an engagement here in your glutes. All right. The forehead is going to stay down on the floor for this one. And we're going to lift opposite arm and leg and then put it down. And then we lift opposite arm and leg and then put it down. So just remember, the forehead stays down. Just the arm and the leg lifting, keeping the elbow and the knee straight. Keep it hold in your lower belly here. Lift the belly button up and in, and the pelvic floor up and in. Keep going through these movements. Just a lift, and a lower, and a lift, and a lower. We do 3 more on each side. 1, lift, and 2, and lift. Last one. 3, and lift. Good. Bring the hands by your ribs. Push yourself back into a little child's pose. Knees are closed. Forehead to the mat. Arms back. Have for a few breaths here. And then roll your way up to a seat whenever you're ready. Thank you so much for doing week 1 with me. Do this week until you feel like you have these exercises under control and your body is strong enough to do them without too much strain. Here are my details if you have any questions or concerns or anything that you would like to see more of in this series or on my channel. Otherwise, thank you so much for practicing, and I will see you in my next video.